All right, ladies and gentlemen, we on day 30, 520 prison style push-up routine. We listening to The Power of Accurate Thinking by Napoleon Hill on a Resilient Mind podcast on Spotify. Let's get straight to it.
Imagine that, perhaps. But unless you practice that all the time, you wouldn't grade 100%. You'd grade something lower than that. And incidentally, where you grade yourself anywhere on any of these lower than 50%, put a cross mark there and go back for study of that particular point. If you grade less than 50%, you should have all of these causes of failure at least 50% under control. And if it falls below that, you've reached the danger point. Number 29, the habit of forming opinions not based upon known facts. Now, to the extent to which you do that, give yourself a good grading on that one.
30, 29
And
left.
if you grade below 50% on that, begin to work on yourself right away and stop having opinions unless you base them on facts or what you believe to be facts. When I hear anybody expressing an opinion on something that I have reason to believe he knows nothing about, I always think of that story they tell on two men who were discussing Einstein's theory of relativity. And they got into a hot argument.
29, 28 left.
Oh, hell, what does Einstein know about politics anyway in the first place? Oh, he understood relativity, didn't he? Well, there are people like that, you know, who have opinions about everything in the world. They can run the country better than Eisenhower's running it. They can tell J. Edgar Hoover a few things about his job. And they can always work their friends over and improve them. But if you examine them very carefully, they're not doing too well themselves, generally.
28, 27 left.
Number 30, egotism and vanity not under control. Egotism is a wonderful thing, and vanity is a wonderful thing. If you didn't have a little vanity, why, you wouldn't wash your neck or your face or have your hair curled or marcelled or whatever it is the women do to their hair. You have to have a little vanity, a little pride. But you can't have too much, can you? I think lipstick's a wonderful thing. If it doesn't get on my shirt.
27, 26 left.
But, you know, you can have too much lipstick. The rouge on the face is a wonderful thing, but you know, nature is a pretty good old hand at painting faces, right? Just right. And when I see a 60 or 70-year-old woman painting her face up to look like a 16-year-old, I only know she's just fooling herself and nobody else, because she's certainly not fooling me.
26, 25 left.
Egotism and vanity. The ego, the human ego, is a marvelous thing. There are a lot of people who need to build up of their ego. They have allowed the circumstances of life to whip them down until they've got no fight left in them. No initiative. No imagination. No faith. Your ego, your human ego, that's a wonderful thing. If you have it under control and don't allow it to become objectionable to other people. I have never seen a successful person yet that didn't have great confidence in his ability to do anything he started out to do.
25, 24 left.
And one of the purposes of this philosophy that you're studying is to enable you to build your ego up to where it will do for you anything you want it to do, no matter what it is. Now, there are some people whose ego needs to be trimmed down a little bit, but I'd say there are very many more that need a build-up than there are who need a squishing. Very many more. Number 31, lack of vision and imagination.
24, 23 left.
I have never been able to determine exactly whether this great capacity for vision and imagination is an inherited quality or an acquired quality. I think perhaps in my case it was inherited because I have had a lot of imagination right back to the earliest days that I can remember. And that was one of the things that got me in difficulty in the early days. I had too much imagination and didn't direct it in the right direction.
23, 22 left.
Giving a human being all of the equipment, and all of the machinery, and all of the mechanism with which to detect lies from falsehood from truth. There is ever something present in the falsehood that does notify the listener of it. It's there. You can tell it. You can feel it. And the same thing by the same token when someone is speaking the truth. The most finished actor in the world couldn't deceive you if you would use your
22, 21 left.
In reference to statements that are made. Scandalmongers. Now, by the same token, when you hear someone overpraised by a doting or loving friend, what about that? that's a compliment, and it's less dangerous to depend upon that. But certainly, if you want the accurate facts, then you will study
20 left.
You will study the remarks of a complimentary nature just as closely as you study the others. For instance, if I send somebody to you for a job, and I send along a letter, a very, very laudatory letter, or get you on the telephone and give you a sales pitch about what a marvelous person this person is, if you're an accurate thinker, you're going to know that I'm rubbing it on pretty thick, and you better be very careful
left.
how much of it you accept, that you better do a little outside investigating. Is that right? Now, please understand, I'm not trying to make doubting Thomases out of you. I'm not trying to make cynics out of you. But I am trying to bring to your attention the necessity of using this God-given brain that you have with which to think accurately, with which to search for the facts.
18 left.
When you find the facts, they may not be what you're looking for, but there they are. There are a lot of people, you know, who fool themselves, and there's no worse fooling in this world than the fooling that one does for himself. That old Chinese proverb which says, "Man fool me once, shame on the man. Fool me twice, shame on me." People just never seem to think that to do a little accurate
18 and 17 left.
Investigating, you know. And you can't imagine, you'd think that bankers, for instance, would be so shrewd that a competent man couldn't come in and take them. And I heard one of the most outstanding competent men in the world, Barney Birch. I don't know what's ever happened to him, but he used to operate here in Chicago. I got acquainted with him once and interviewed him on
17, 16 left.
And I asked him what type of men were the easiest victims. Why, he said bankers, because they think they're so damn smart. You know, I'm quoting him. That's what he said. Well, anyhow,
16, 15
you're
left.
not paying too much attention to scandal mongers and gossipers. Wishes often are fathers to facts, and most people have a bad habit of assuming facts to harmonize with their desires. Did you know that? Therefore, you have to look in the looking glass when you're searching for this business
15,
of
14 left.
locating the person who can do accurate thinking. You've got to be put yourself under suspicion a little too, haven't you? Because if you wish a thing to be true, oftentimes you will assume it is true, and you will act as if it were. If you love a person, you'll overlook his faults. You'll never see his faults if you love him a great deal. But really,
14, 13 left.
Watch ourselves in connection with those whom we admire most, until they have proved themselves entirely. Because I have admired a great many people who turned out to be very dangerous indeed. As a matter of fact, I think most of my troubles back in my early days came from trusting people too much, letting them use my name. Sometimes they wouldn't use it wisely.
13, 12 left.
That's happened 5 or 6 times in my life. Because I trusted the people. Why did I trust them? Well, because I knew them, and they were nice people, and they said and did the things that I liked. Be careful of the fellow that says and does the things you like, because you're going to overlook his faults. Don't be too hard on the man who steps on your corns and causes you to re-examine yourself.
12,
Don't be
11
too
left.
hard on him, because he may be the most important friend you ever had in your life. The person who maybe irritates you, but causes you to examine yourself carefully. We all like to meet and associate with people who agree with us. That's human
11,
nature.
10 left.
Oftentimes, the people, some people that you associate with, who agree with you, and who are very nice and lovely, come to the point where they can take advantage of you, and they do. Now, information is abundant, and most of it is free, but facts have an elusive habit,
10.
and generally there is a price attached to it. Certainly the price is painstaking labor in
Got 4 sets of 25 left. Let's get straight to it.
examining them for accuracy. That's the least of the price that you have to pay for facts. And this question, how do you know, is the favorite question of the thinker. When a thinker has here's a statement that he can't accept, immediately he says to the speaker, how do you know, what is your source of information?
25, 75
The
left.
business of asking people to identify their source of knowledge, and oftentimes if you have the slightest doubt, if you do that, you put the person right out on a limb. He won't be able to do it. Or if you ask him how he knows, he'll tell you, well, I believe so. Well, now what right of you to believe anything unless you based upon something, unless you can give some background for it? I believe there's a God.
50 left.
A lot of people do. But I'll bet you there are a lot of people who say that they believe there's a God who couldn't give you the slightest evidence of him if you backed them into a corner. I can give you evidence. When I say that I believe in a God and you say, how do you know? I can give you all of the evidence. I don't have so much evidence in connection with anything else in this world as I do in connection with the existence of a creator. Because the organs of this universe couldn't go on and on
75.
eons and eons of times, adding
25 left.
without a first cause and without a plan back of it. You know that's absolutely true. And yet there are a lot of people who undertake to prove the presence of God in devious ways that, in my book of rules, wouldn't be evidence at all. Anything that exists, including God, is capable of proof. And where there is no such proof available, it is safe.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 520 reps on day 30. My name is D-Rax. Welcome to Rich Before Gaming, and I will catch you next time, and I'm out. Peace.